Okay, good evening viewers. So today we will going to discuss about political parties and party system. Okay, let's start with political parties. Political parties are voluntary associations for organizations group of individuals who share the same political views and who try to gain political power through constitutional means and who desire to work for promoting the national interest. Okay, there are four types of political parties in the modern democratic states, and such as first one is reactionary parties, which seeming to be old socio-economic and political institutions, and second one is conservative parties which believe in the status quo, and third one is liberal parties which aims at reforming the existing institutions, and the fourth one is radical parties which aim at establishing a new order by overthrowing the existing institutions. Okay, so there are three categories of political parties. In their classifications of political parties on the basis of ideologies, the political scientists have placed the radical parties on the left and liberal parties in the center and reactionary and conservative parties on the right. Okay, in other words, they are described as the leftist parties, central parties, and the rightist parties. Okay, according to their formation. In India, the CPI and CPM are the example of the leftist parties. The Congress of central parties, and the BJP is an example of rightist parties. Okay, there are three kinds of party system in the world, that is one party system in which only one ruling party exists and no opposition is permitted, as for example in the former communist countries like the USSR and the other East European countries. In USSR there is one party system or single party systems. Okay, and then two party system in which two major parties exist, as for example in USA and Britain. Okay, and the third one is multi-party system. Multi-party systems in which there are a number of political parties leading to the formations of coalitions of government. As for example, in France, Switzerland, and India is the great examples of multi-party systems. Okay, party systems in a democracy normally refers to the pattern of interactions and competitions between political parties. Okay, in India, the pattern of interactions and competitions among political parties has given way to the multi-party system. The kind of characterizations of the political parties, however, more accurate of now than the existed a few decades ago. Okay, what existed then was the impeccable hegemony of the Congress party, and this was well characterized by Kothari and Jones as a dominant party system. Such systems was a multi-party system in which free competitions among political parties occurred, but it was the Indian National Congress which enjoyed a dominant position both in terms of the number of seats it held in the parliament and the state legislative assemblies, and in terms of its immense organizational strength. Okay, then Kothari coined the term the Congress system, and Jones called it a Congress dominated system. Enormous changes have taken place in the party system in recent years. These changes started taking place from 1967 onwards, but these have become much more pronounced since the late 18th and early 1990s. Okay, there is a considerable changes. There is an enormous changes found from the 1967s. Okay, the party systems has moved away from a one party dominant system to a multi party system, that is from one party to that is shifted from multi party systems. It is also referred to as a federalist party system or a coalitions party system. Since 2014, the Bharatiya Janata Party has emerged as the single most dominated party in India. We shall, in this unit, concern ourselves mainly with the party system that had emerged and developed at the states level in the Indian Union. Before doing so, we look at regional and state parties in brief, since they have grown enormously in recent years and play a crucial role in shaping the party system in many of the Indian systems. We here we discuss about the national party systems, the regional party systems, or state party systems. Or here we also discuss about some local party system. Political parties are the indispensable link between the people and the representatives machinery of government. In democracy, they are the vehicles through which individuals and groups work to secure political party and, if successful, to exercise that power. They have so less significant functions when in opposition of scrutinizing the use of power and forcing the government constantly to justify its policies and actions. Any democratic political system requires people's support. It can be mobilized by a political party. Further, a liberal democratic government operates in a millions of changes and oppositions, and political party plays a crucial role to meet challenges of opposition. Okay, in this chapter, an attempt is being made to review its origin, its growth, and development of political party systems in India. Okay, then we look towards the evolutions of party system in India. Okay, the contemporary party system in India developed originally in the context of the struggle for freedom and after independence within the framework of parliamentary government. Okay, both these environments have exerted that influence on the present character and structures of the political parties. The context of the struggle for freedom tells that the evolutions of parties in India has been of different footing than those of Western democracy. Okay, in India, unlike the West, social and economic changes did not preceded political development. Since the growth of science and technology was slow and the development of the country's economy was poor and uneven, society as a whole remained unmodernized. Okay, the elite commitment to modernity involving a radical changing in the traditional value system and social relationship was weak. The Indian situations thus provided hardly a ground for the development of the party system from within. Like capitalists, therefore, the development of party system was also proceeded from an applications of external stimuli. Okay, the British provided it as a part of an historical process. The party system in India originate in the 19th, in the late 19th century as a mm, response to the British colonial changes. That means during the late 19th century, actually party system originate in India. The beginning of the Indian party system can be traced to the formation of the Indian National Congress in 1885 as a political platform. Okay, the first political party, that is INC, in 1985. Okay, emerged. The growth and role of the Indian party system as such was conditioned by the divide and rule policy of the British. Okay, the secular party systems, as in the Western countries, could not be achieved in India, as there was communalizations of politics, fragmentations of national unity, and weakening of solidarity on the basis of caste, religion, and community. Okay, then let's we discuss about some characteristics of political party system in India. What are the major characteristics are defined for the political parties in India? Its first major characteristic is multi-party system, because India is a multi-party system. Okay, the constitutional size of the country, the diversified character of Indian society, and the adoptions of universal adult franchise, the peculiar type of political process, and other factors have given rise to a large number of political parties. Okay, in fact, India has the largest number of political parties in the world. In the total entire world, India is the largest numbers of multi-party system. Okay, on the eve of 16th Lok Sabha general election, that is 2014, there were 6 national parties and 47 state parties and 19 and 1593 registered unrecognized parties in the country. Further, India has all categories of parties: left parties, central parties, and rightist parties, as I already discussed. Then communal parties, then non-communist communal parties, and so on. Okay. Consequently, the huge parliament, huge assemblies, and coalitions government had become a common phenomenon. That is the first characteristics of or first characteristics of party systems in India. Then its second characteristics is one dominant party systems. Okay, in spite of the multi-party system, the political scene or political scenario in India was dominated for a long period by the Congress. Okay, at that time we may be said that India is a one party system, because there is a dominant role played by one party system, that is Congress. Okay, hence Rajni Kothari, an eminent political analyst, preferred to call the Indian party system as one party dominant system or the Congress system. Okay, the dominant positions enjoyed by the Congress has been declined since 1967 with the rise of regional parties and other national parties. Okay, like Janta 1977, Janta Dal, that is 1989, and the BJP 1991, leading to the development of a competitive multi-party systems. Okay, then next characteristics is lack of clear ideology. Okay, except the BJP and the two communist parties, that is CPI and CPM, all other parties do not have a clear-cut ideology, that which ideologies they have to follow. Okay, except two parties, that is BJP and CPI and CPM. Okay, they that is all other parties are ideologically closer to each other. That means their ideologies is similar to each other. Okay, each and every party must set some ideologies for which they have to follow in that rules regulations, or they have to follow their own ideology. But except BJP and CPI CPM, other parties are similar ideologies. Their ideologies is mixture of one ideology to another ideology. Okay, they have a close resemblance in their policies and programs. Okay, there is a mixture of or there is a mixture of similarities between one party ideology to another party's ideologies program. Okay, almost every party advocates democracy, secularism, socialism, and Gandhism. More than this, every party, including the so-called ideological parties, is guided by only one consideration's power capture. Okay, thus politics has become issue based rather than the ideology, and pragmatism has replaced the commitment to the principles. Okay, then its next characteristics is personality cult. Okay, personality cult is the next characteristics of political party. Quite often, the parties are organized around an eminent leader who becomes more important than the party and its ideology. Okay, parties are known by their leaders rather than by their manifesto. Okay, it is a a fact that the popularity of the Congress was mainly due to the leadership of Nehru, Indira Gandhi, and Rajiv Gandhi. Similarly, the AIADMK in Tamil Nadu and TDP in Andhra Pradesh got identified with MG and NT Ramarao respectively. Okay, interesting. Several parties bear the name of their leaders like Biju Janata Dal, Lok Dal, okay, Congress, and so on. Okay, hence it is said that there are political personalities rather than political parties in India. This belongs to political parties' identities belongs to personality of that political party's leader. Okay, then its next characteristics is based on traditional factor. Okay, in the Western countries, the political parties are formed on the basis of socio-economic and political program. On the other hand, a large number of parties in India are formed on the basis of religion, caste, language, culture, race, and so on. Okay, for example, Shiv Sena, Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, Akali Dal, Bahujan Samaj Party, Republican Party of India, and so on. Okay, these parties work for the promotion of communal and sectional interest and thereby undermine the general public interest. Okay, then its next characteristics is emergence of regional parties. Another significant feature or another significant characteristics is the emergence of regional parties of Indian political system. There is a large number of regional parties and their growing role. They have become a ruling parties in various states like BJD in Odisha, DMK or AIADMK in Tamil Nadu, Akali Dal in Punjab, then AGP in Assam, National Congress in Jammu and Kashmir, and JDU in Bihar, and so on. In the beginning, they were confined to the regional parties only, but of late, they have came to play a significant role in the national politics due to the coalition government at the center. In the 1984 elections, the TDP emerged as the largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha. Okay, then factions and defections. Factions, defections, splits, mergers, fragmentations, polarizations, and so on have been an important aspects of the factioning of political parties in India. Okay, lots for power and material considerations have made the politicians to leave their party and join another party or start a new party. The practice of defections gained greater currency after the fourth general elections 1967. This phenomena caused political instability both at the center and in the states and lead to disintegrations of the parties. Thus, there are two Janata Dals, two TDPs, two DMKs, two Communist parties, two Congress, three Akali Dals, three Muslim leagues, and so on. Okay, then its next characteristics is lack of effective oppositions. And effective oppositions is very essential for the successful operations of the parliamentary democracy prevalent in India. It checks the authenticate tendencies of the ruling party and provides an alternative government. However, in the last 50 years, an effective, strong organizations and viable national oppositions could never emerge except in clashes. Okay, the opposition parties have no unity and very often adopt conflicting positions with respect to the ruling parties. They have failed to play a constructive role in the functioning of the body politic and in the process of national building. Then now we discuss about recognitions of national and state parties. Which parties are national parties and which parties are state parties? The election commissioner registered political parties for the purposes of elections and grants them recognitions as national and state parties on the basis of their poll performance. Okay, the other parties are simply declared as registered unrecognized parties. Okay, the recognized granted by the commissions to the parties determine their rights to certain privileges like allocations of the party symbols, provisions of time for political broadcast on the state own televisions and radio stations, and access to electoral rolls. Further, the recognized parties need only one prosper for filling the nominations. Also, these parties are allowed to have 40 campaigners during the time of elections, and the registered unrecognized parties are allowed to have 20 star companies. The travels expense of these companies are not included in the election expenditure of the candidate of their parties. Okay, every national party is allowed to a symbol exclusively reserved for its use throughout the country. Okay, that means every political party or each national party must be recognized by a symbol. Okay, similarly, every state party is allotted to a symbol exclusively reserved for its use in the state or states in which it is so recognized. Okay, and that symbol cannot be used by other party. A registered unrecognized party, on the other hand, can select a symbol from a list of three symbols. In other words, the Commission specific certain symbols as reserved symbols, which are meant for the candidate set up by the recognized parties, and other as free symbols which are meant for each candidates. Okay, then what are the conditions for recognitions as a national parties? What are the conditions mentioned by our parliament, or mentioned in the constitutions of India, mentioned in parliament to recognize as a national party? As per 2016, a party is recognized as a national party if any of the following conditions is fulfilled. Which type of conditions? Its first conditions is if it secures 6% of valid votes polled in any four or more states at a general elections to the Lok Sabha or to the Legislative Assembly, and in addition, it win four seats in the Lok Sabha from any state or states, or if it wins 2% of seats in the Lok Sabha at a general election, and these candidates are elected from three states, or if it is recognized as a state party in four states. These are the conditions to recognize as a national party. Then what are the conditions for a state party? At present in 2006, okay, a party is recognized as a state party in the state if any of the following conditions are fulfilled by the party. And what are the conditions? Is first conditions is if it secures 6% of valid votes polled in the state at a general election to the legislative assembly of the state concerned, and in addition it wins two seats in the assembly of the state concerned, or if it secures 6% of the valid votes polled in the states at a general elections to the Lok Sabha from the state concerned, and in addition it wins one seat in the Lok Sabha from the state concerned, or if it wins 3% of the seat in the Legislative Assembly at a general election to the Legislative Assembly of the state concerned, or three seats in the Assembly, whichever is more. Or next condition is if it wins one seat in the Lok Sabha for every 25 seats, or any fractions thereof allotted to the state at a general election to the Lok Sabha from the state concerned. Okay, and if it secures 8% of the total valid votes polled in the state at a general election to the Lok Sabha from the state or the Legislative Assembly of the state. These conditions was added in 2011. Okay, so these are the conditions for a state party systems. Then we discuss about some features of political party systems. These above are the characteristics of political party systems. Then we discuss about some features of political party system. So first features is rapidly changing party structures. Okay, political party structure in India has been continuously and rapidly changing due to split, okay, defection, alliances, and counter alliances. If political party structures is always changes because of parties are not static, okay. Parties are maybe time to time they are split, okay, split into different bodies due to defection, due to alliances, and due to counter alliances. Okay, almost every political party has been living through these. Okay, these structures or these systems is followed by almost all political parties. There is found that parties are split. Okay, from time to time. The Congress experienced four big splits. Congress parties have had four splits. Okay, four big splits, and the splits are occurred during the year 1969 and 1977, 1995 and 1999. Okay, in 1999, the Congress political party emerged out of a split in the Congress. In fact, several political parties like Trinamool Congress, TMC, and other have come out of the Congress as a result of split. Okay, these are the examples of a split or parties changing structures. Then its next features is dominant positions of the Congress during 1947 to 1989. The Indian multi-party system initially worked as one party dominant multi-party system. Between 1947 to 1967, the Congress dominated fully the Indian political scene or Indian political scenario at the national and state level. It got 354, 371, 361 seats in 1952 and 1957 and 1962 respectively. Okay, in general election. In 1967, it got 283 seats in the Lok Sabha. This is the dominant role of Congress during the period of 1947 to 1989. That means during the period 1947 to 1989, Congress continuously leading its dominant role. Okay. Then next one is presence of a recognized oppositions and growing role of parties in opposition. In oppositions in our parliament, there is also a rules for oppositions party, which are the conditions mentioned by our constitutions India for a oppositions. Okay, and then that conditions are when political Indian political parties was working as a one party dominant multi party system, lack of an effective opposition was a big weakness. Okay, because of continuously Congress leading the dominant role in its first four general elections, no party other than the Congress was in position to secure even 50 seats. Okay, the minimum constitutional requirement for getting the status of opposition party. That means for getting a status of opposition party, the minimum position of seat is to secure 50 seats. Okay, but initially, besides Congress, no party can secure that positions of seats. Okay, in 1969, minimum constitutional requirement for getting the status of the in 1969, when there occurred a split in the Congress got the status of an opposition party. Okay, so this system is continuously going on. Okay, and then in May 2009, again the Congress lead up UPA came to ruling alliance, and the BJP again came to the recognized opposition in the 15th Lok Sabha elections. Okay, in 2009, BJP lead the role of a opposition party. Okay, then its next features is special status of the leader of opposition. In October 1999, Mrs. In October 99, Sonia Gandhi got recognitions of status as the leader of opposition. In June 2009, Mr. L.K. Advani of the BJP again became the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. These are the positions under the Salary and Allowances of Leaders of Opposition in Parliament Act 1977. The leader of opposition in each house of parliament enjoys a special status. Okay, his status is equal to that of a cabinet minister, and he draw the same salary and allowances as are drawn by a cabinet ministers. These are the status of a leader of opposition party. Okay, then systems of registrations of political parties with the Elections Commission. Since December 1988, there has been a existence a provisions for the register of political parties with the election commissions by amending the representations of the political or the people act of 1951. It has been laid down that it is essential for each political party to get itself registered with the elections commissions. That means each political party must have registered with the elections commissions. Okay, a party which fails to get registered is not accepted as a political party. That means it is bound that each and every political party must have registered with elections commissions. Okay, then its next feature is large number of regional and local state political parties. Okay, the existence of a large number of regional political parties along with the national level political parties is the reality of Indian political system. Such a feature is quite natural for a country like India, which is characterized by a social pluralism. Okay, regional party is one which enjoys its popularity in one or two states, and it's committed to secure the interest of these vice versa the union. Okay, the like DMK, then IADMK, National Conference, then Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, then and so on, are the some more prominent regional parties. Several states of Indian Union are being ruled by the regional parties, either individual or in coalitions. Okay, then its next characteristics is power sharing between national and regional political parties. That means powers is sharing between the regional and national political parties. A new development in the Indian political system has been the emergence of a process of power sharing between national and regional parties. That means power must be shared between the national and regional parties. Since June 1996, a coalition consisting of several regional party and some national level parties has been ruling at the center. The CPM lead allying West Bengal for about 35 years. Okay, in February 2007, the BJP and SAT came to power in Punjab, and till date continues to rule Punjab. Congress is sharing power with NCP in Maharashtra, okay, and with NC in Jammu and Kashmir. During 2004 to 2008, BJD and BJP remain in the ruling alliance in Odisha. Okay, that is the structures of power sharing between the national and regional parties. Okay, then its next feature is lack of rigid existence of some political parties which enjoy the support of several different communities in Indian society. Okay, its next feature is existence of some political parties which enjoy the support of several different communities of Indian societies. Means in India, there are some parties which also get support from different communities of Indian society. Okay, Some political parties draw their support from among the members of particular communities. In this way, several of the Indian political parties can be called communal parties. Okay, because they got support from community. Okay, Muslim League, Shiv Sena, Republican Party, Hindu Mahasabha, Akali Dal, etc. all are in a way communal parties. Some critics hold that even BJP is also a communal party because it enjoys the support of mainly 95% of the Hindus. Even DMK and AIADMK have been anti-Brahmin parties. Okay. However, each such party participates in the mainstream politics and cannot be termed as communist parties. All these parties are registered with the elections commissions. Okay, they are the registered party. Then inner factionalism. What is inner factionalism? Factionalism and groups are present in most of the political parties. Inner groupism in Congress has been a recognized feature. That means groupism features. Okay, the existence of leftist, rightist, okay, centralist within the Congress has been a historical fact. Okay, it is also true of the all other political parties. These features has been mainly responsible for political parties and defections. Okay, group owing loyalties or different leaders are present in almost in every party. Okay, then that means each and every party must maintain a groupism factionalism. Okay, then its next characteristics is personality cult politics. Personality cult dominates party politics in India. Okay, several political parties stand organized around a leader. The existence of such political parties like Congress and etc. Reflect the presence of politics of personality called in Indian political parties. Even the Congress party almost always reserved around the personality of its top leader. Currently, its top leader. Okay, it has been a standard practice with the political leaders of India to flout their political parties. Other than the political scene witness the rise of group loyalties to different leaders and loyalties towards the leaders enjoy precedence over loyalty towards the party or the ideology. The leader of such party behaves like a queen bee. Okay, then its next feature is lack of internal democracy in several political parties. Most of the parties in India do not have democratically organized structures. Theoretically or legally, most of the political parties stand organized in a democratic way. But in practice, the top leaders or the party elites dominate the setup. Okay. Then next feature is weak party discipline. That means party disciplines is weak. Lack of discipline among the party members is again a sad or a poor reality of Indian party systems. Okay, the party members do not hesitate to become rebels whenever they find a decision unacceptable. Okay, that means they react when their decisions is not accepted by the ruling party. They react. Okay, the in elections the dissents or the rebel or even oppose and contest election against the officially sponsored party candidates. Okay, then its next features is evil practices of political defections. The evil of defections in the form of floor crossing after winning elections or particular party tickets, okay, has been present in Indian political system. It came to be the standard practice of the dissent, particularly after the fourth general election that is held in 1967. Post 1967 years witnessed the emergence of era of Arya Rams and Ayarama and Gaya Rams in Indian politics. Defections can be described as an undemocratic practices, as it involved a breach of truth on the part of elected representative who, after getting elected on a particular party tickets, decide a change his party loyalties and join another party for securing birth in the ministry, or for causing a fall on the ministry, or for his selfish pity political and financial gains. Okay, then next features is large number of independent contestants in elections. Okay, another features which has been a bearing on the working of Indian party system can be described as the presence of a large number of independent candidates in the elections. The political parties have to be meet the challenges posed by the locality popular independent candidates who are contesting election from various constituencies. Okay, the next one is politics of populism. Okay, almost all the political parties adopt the follow populist policies and raise populist slogan for securing their vote banks. Okay, the party in power uses its power of policy making for attracting votes. Okay, then its next feature is resort to direct action or extra constitutional means. Okay, a political party is an organized of people committed to secure power through peaceful and constitutional means, as as well as to use power for the promotions of national interest. Okay, then next features is politics of opportunistic alliances. Political parties often resort to unprincipled electoral alliances and coalitions for securing short-term gains. Okay, during elections, almost all political parties enter into a unprincipled alliances. They do not hesitate to enter into electoral alliances with communal parties. Okay, during November 1989 to October 1990, the Janata Party remained in power with the support from outside of two diametrically opposed political parties, the parties like CPI and the CPM, and the rightist parties like the BJP. Okay, then its next features is path of an era of coalition politics. The era of coalition politics have arrived in Indian politics since 1996. Coalitions government have been in power at the center and in several states. Okay, between October 1999 to May 2004, the center was ruled by the BJP-led National Dominance Alliances. West Bengal remained under the rule of left for more than 3 decades. Okay, so these are the conditions, or these are the situations, or these are the important features of Indian political party systems. Okay, so now we discuss about classifications of political parties. In India, political parties are classified into two ways, one by the academics and another by the elections commissions of India. Okay, the former classified parties based on the factions such as their regional support based political ideologies, that is based on ideologies. Okay, they got support from the outsider, and another one is which got support from the election commissions. The elections commissions of India classify them according to their percentage of valid votes polled by them in Vidhan Sabha or Lok Sabha elections in a specific number of states. Okay, it's classify political parties into three categories, that is national, state, and registered parties. Its definitions of state parties is the almost elaborate. In these definitions, a party to be called a state party must have been engaged in political activity for at least 5 years and must have owned either 4% of the seat in a general elections or 3% in a state elections. In addition, it must have had the support of 6% of the vote cast. The parties which are called state parties by the Elections Commissions of India are generally referred to as regional parties in academic and popular discussions. Then Oliver Hogg and Yogendra Yadav consider those parties as regional parties whose social bases are restricted to one or two states. The definition takes into considerations only the social basis of a party and its area of operations. A national party is considered only the social basis of a party and its area of operations. A national party is recognized as a national party if it is recognized as a state party or regional party, but it's registered with the election commissions. Okay, such parties are also termed as unrecognized parties. The definitions provided by the election commissions of a regional party is not very satisfactory, since the definitions takes into considerations the past performance of a political party. It is not accepted as a oral definitions by the academicians. They considered those parties as regional parties whose bases and activities are restricted to particular state and rooted in both regional aspirations and grievances. The support base of regional party is limited to a particular state because it identifies itself with the region, culture, language, religion, etc. It also presents the regional preservance, vice versa, the central and other states. These perpetuate use of religion and language effectively for electoral benefits. A political party to be recognized as a regional party must satisfactory three specific criteria. First, a regional party restricts its area of action to a single region, which in the prevailing Indian situations means a state. Secondly, the parties of this kind typically articulate and seek to defend a region based ethnic or religio-cultural identity. And thirdly, by their very nature, regional parties are primarily concerned with the local and state grievances. Okay, then types of party system. From the above discussion, it must that because of the peculiar social structure, political development, institutional framework, and development process, India has been developing her own cathetic form of multi-party politics. There are all 31 types of parties and all at all levels. Okay, these can be classified on the basis of their strength and functioning and intellectual outlook and organizational characters. On the basis of strength and areas of functioning, there are four major parties. Okay, that is all India parties, and that means all India parties or national parties, then regional parties, then local parties or ad hoc parties. All India parties are national in character. Okay, their political programs cover a large range of uses and evoke popular support from a large number of constitutions. Legally, for the purposes of allotment of election symbols, the election commissions recognize a party as a national has secured in earlier election either a 4% of votes or 3.33% of seats in four legislative assemblies, or 4% of votes or 4% of seats of Lok Sabha from at least four states. Okay, these are the conditions. Then, which parties are called? We call that national parties. All India parties generally present broad program concerned with the social, economic, and political welfare of the whole of India. Okay, Indian candidates from all India parties may focus their campaign on uses of regional and local rather than national concern, but associations with an all India party commits each candidate at least nominally to the party position on a number of nationally significant issues. The present All India parties are Congress Party, then Bharatiya Janata Party, then Communist Party of India, that is CPI, Communist Party of India, that is Marxist, then National Congress Party, and Bahujan Samaj Party. These are the national parties. Okay. Then regional parties present the interest of particular linguistic, religious, regional, ethnic, or cultural groups whose popularity may be concentrated in an area as small as a single state, okay, assembly constituency, or as large as an entire state assembly constituency, entire state or region. Okay, the programmatic focus of regional parties is usually restricted to specific issues of common to their membership, because such groups are fairly homogeneous in their policy preferences, and are in addition usually confined to a limited geographic areas. Regional parties do not generally aspire to secure control over central government. Instead, they may aim to secure control over particular departments in the national governments, over particular state governments, or at least over policies that have special significance for their constituents. Despite their limited range of concerns and their limited pool of potential supporters, regional parties play an important role in national, state, and local parties. The most important among such parties are AIADMK and DMK in Tamil Nadu, Akali Dal in Punjab, National Conference in Jammu and Kashmir, then Assam Ghana Prasad in Assam, then and Telugu Desam in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, in addition, Gorak League in West Bengal, Jharkhand, Mukti Morcha, Jharkhand, Kerala, Congress in Kerala, and some hill parties in Northeast Hill region, and some other have also been important occasionally. Okay, then we discuss about some localized parties. Localized parties such as Socialist Parties Center of India. Okay, or the Forward Bloc share the program scopes of some all India parties, but without the latter range of popular support. The influence of localized parties is confined to a few constituencies and shows little evidence of expansions. Okay, while localized parties take stand on a large number of issues, their limited membership and limited base of support generally result in those stands being more rigidly ideological than the comparable positions of the all India parties or even some the regional parties. Okay, thus while all India parties have many factions, localized parties do not. Instead, when factions develop in localized parties, the followers of the dissenting factions tend to form their own new localized party, Socialistic Unity Centers of India, that is SUCI, Forward Bloc, Peasants and Workers Party, Republican Party, that is CPI, and then etc. are some of the important examples of such parties. Okay, in states where language and state boundaries issues have not been entirely resolved, local parties agitating for redressal may also form localized parties from time to time, such a Maharashtra Ekaran Samiti, then Telangana, then Praja Samiti, then Haryana Prasad, etc. But generally, they have no political significance. These are the local parties. Okay. Then also some ad hoc parties. The examples of ad hoc parties are Kerala Congress, then Bangla Congress, then Lok Shakti, Rashtriya Lokdal, etc. are the some examples of ad hoc parties. Okay, so parties can be categorized into four categories. They are the national parties, regional parties, or local parties, and some ad hoc parties. Okay. Then what are the different functions played by the political parties. Okay, uh, every political parties lead perform a number of functions. Okay, so we discuss what are the functions are played by different political parties. Okay, its first function is parties contest election. In most democracies, elections are fought mainly among the candidates put up by political parties. Parties select their candidates in different ways. In some countries, such as the USA, members and supporters of a party choose its candidates. Okay, now more and more countries are following this method. In other countries like India, top party leaders choose candidate for contesting elections. Okay, then second function is parties put forward different policies and program, and the votes choose from them. Each of us, many have different opinions and views on what policies are suitable for the society, but no government can handle such a large variety of views. Okay, in a democracy, a large number of similar opinions have to be grouped together to provide a directions in which policies can be formulated by the government. Okay, this is what the parties do. A party reduces a vast multitude of opinions into a few basic positions which it supports. Okay, a government is expected to base its policies on the line taken by the ruling party. What are the suggestions given by the ruling party? Government made policies on the basis of ruling party, or on the basis of suggestions of the ruling party. Then this was the broad functions played by the political parties. Then another function is parties plays a decisive role in making laws for country. Okay, formally laws are based and passed in the legislature, but since most of the members belongs to a party, they got by the direction of the party leadership, irrespective of their personal opinions. Okay, then its next functions, parties form and run governments. Okay, as we noted last year, the big policy decisions are taken by political executive that comes from the political parties. Parties recruit leaders and train them and then make them minister to run the government in that way. Okay, then those parties that lost in the elections play the role of opposition to the parties in power by voicing different views in criticizing government for its failure or wrong policies. Opposition parties also mobilize oppositions to the government. Then parties shape public opinion. They raise and highlighted issue. Parties have lakhs of members and activities spread all over the country. Many of the pressure groups are the extensions of political parties among different sections of society. Parties sometimes also launch movements for the resolutions of problems faced by the people. Often, opinions in the society crystallize on the lines parties take. Okay, then parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by governments. For an ordinary citizens, it is easily to approach a local party leader than a government officer. That is why they fail choose to parties even when they do not fully trust them. Parties have to be responsive to people needs and demands. Okay, people needs and demands are indirectly fulfilled by the political parties. Otherwise, people can reject those parties in the next election. Okay, that means our wishes, our choices are filled up by the political parties. Okay, then these are the important functions played by the political parties. Okay, then what is the importance of political parties? Okay, a democracy cannot exist without the presence of political parties. That means a democracy cannot work without the presence of a political party. Okay, This is clear from the functions performed by the political parties. In case there are no political parties, then okay, every candidate in the elections would be an independent uh, candidate. Any individual candidate do not have any efficiency to promise any major policy change to the people. In such a scenario, no one will be responsible for how the country is run. Then its next importance is in the long run only a representative democracy can survive. Political parties are the agencies that gather different views on various issues and present them to the government. Okay, then what are the ideologies? These are the importance of political parties. Why political parties we frame, and what are the importance of political parties? Because without political parties, the rules, the regulations cannot be framed. Actually, directly or indirectly, the rules which are came from our constitutions or which are came from parliament is actually formed by the different ruling political parties. Okay, then we let's discuss about some ideology of political parties in India. Which ideology they have to follow? Okay, ideology plays a role in the formation of a party, and its functions is often debatable. The national movements and the different perceptions for the attainment of independence provided the broad framework for the ideologies of political parties in the country. Okay, nationalism, socialism, secularism, and democracy become the main principles of the Congress during the last leg of the freedom struggle and remain so till now. They follow this type of ideology. Congress follow the ideologies of nationalism, socialism, secularism, democracy. These ideologies they follow. There is also a tendency during the nationalist movement to emphasize the need to form a new nationalist identity based on the rejuvenated Hindu values and thought. Although the meaning of a term Hindu is always prone to multiple entrepreneurships. Okay, the communists wanted to unite the freedom struggle with social revolution, leading to the establishment of the rule of the proletariat and peasantry, guided by Marxism Leninism. Thus, there are three broad ideological tendencies during the formative years of political parties in India: an electric ideology based on socialism and secularism, the Hindutva ideology, and the Marxist ideology. Of course, there were parties based on ideologies, identities such as the Muslim League and the Shiromani Akali Dal, which visualized religious communities as separate political entities. Okay, then what are the parties role, party system in Indian states? Okay, then state party system in India have developed in close connections and interactions with the national party system. Closeness of relationship between the state party system and the national party system has been termed as the combination of the state party system by some observers in the recent years. Okay, this is natural, considering that India consists of different states. Okay, the changing in the national party system have affected the state party system, and in turn transfer in the nature of party competitions at the state level had affected the national party system substantially. The second development, however, is more pronounced in recent years because of spectacular growth of the regional and state parties in Indian politics. Okay, then we discuss about the era of Congress dominance. Okay, the party systems in India before 1967 has been a system of Congress dominance. It has been also refers to as the Congress dominated system or the Congress system till the fourth general elections, which were held in 1967. State party system in India, like that of the national party system, was dominated by overwhelming presence of the Congress party. Okay, the Congress party dominated in almost all the states, but the dominations of Congress was not uniform in all states. Okay, the Congress, for example, had to face the thought competition in the former Pencil state that accepted to the Indian Union after 1947. Whereas in order to state it is almost had an impeccable hegemony. It ruled almost all the states except Jammu and Kashmir, where the national conferences had a mm, where the national conference has presence. Kerala was also an exception because in the second general elections in 1957, the CPI emerged victorious and formed a governmental along with its allies for 2 years till it was dissolved arbitrarily in 1959. A quick reference to some data will help illustrate this point. Okay, the Congress was such a dominant force that it secured comfortable majorities uh, uh, mm, in almost all elections to the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies in 1952 and 1957 and 1962. As I already discussed, though it never secured more than 48% of the votes in Lok Sabha elections, it always secured comfortable majority in terms of seats. Okay, and seats are distributed in which way? That things also I discussed in the state assemblies, except for a few, it secured comfortable majorities almost in all the state, all the assemblies elections. It secures 4.2% of votes in 68.4% of seats in 1952 and 44.97% of votes and 64.9% of votes seats in 1957, which was already discussed. Then electoral data thus indicates that the performance of the Congress in the assembly elections was slightly poorer than the Lok Sabha elections. This was because of the nature of resistance offered by the opposition, which includes the state and regional formations. Oppositions to the Congress in the assembly elections was much more severe than in the Lok Sabha elections. Let us briefly refer to the positions of dominance across some of the bigger Indian states while referring to its performance in the assembly elections. In Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections between 1952 to 1962, the party secured between 47.9 and 36.3% votes. Okay, it captured between 390 to 249 seats out of a total 430 seats in Bihar. In the same period, the party secured between 41.4% to 42.1% votes, but between 72.2% and 58.1% seats. Similarly, in West Bengal, the Congress secured between 38.9 and 47.3% of votes and between 63% of 62.3% of seats. In Andhra Pradesh, after the state was formed, it secured between 41.7% to 47.3% of votes in 1955. Then 57 and 1962 and 1980, 187 to 177 seats out of total 300 seats. Okay, in Tamil Nadu, the party enjoy a dominant positions in the assembly elections of 1957 and 1962. These are all the era of dominance of Congress. Okay, it secured between 45.3% and 46.1% votes and captured between 67.4% to 73.6% seats. In Maharashtra, the party secured 48.7% to 51.2% of votes in 1952 and 1962. Thus, it is clear that the Congress enjoyed a dominant position in the electoral politics of the states in the Indian Union, even though it was hardly able to secure the majority of the votes. In fact, it won a majority of seats in the assemblies of all the states states on the basis of plurality of votes against a fragmented constitution. Then, when the Congress breakdown during the period of 1967 to 1989, the Congress played a very dominant role in the state, starting coming from the mid of 1960. The fourth general election of 1967 marks in the intensifications of this change. This party that emerged in the state after that and continued till 1989 may be referred to as a biopolarized on or one in which a weak Congress party was confronted with a united position in most of the states. Okay, the following patterns of uh, biopolarizations was seen in the states for the general election in the period from 1967 to 1989. Okay, in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, and Delhi, the competitions was between the Congress and the BJS, BJP in Kerala. Tripura and West Bengal, the competitions has been between the Congress and left. Okay, in Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Assam and Goa, a Congress regional parties lead alliance emerged, though the BJP also gained substantially. In the northeastern state, the contest was mainly between the Congress and a variety of regional parties to or their alliances. In Tamil Nadu, competitions has been mainly between the DMK and the AIADMK. Finally, in seven major states, Odisha, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Haryana, Gujarat, and Karnataka, the Congress retained dominance. One can, however, add that even in the state, oppositions grew stronger as well as we shall notice later. So far as the assembly elections are concerned, the following patterns of mm, biopolarizations emerged after 1967. One may note that the votes of the Congress party declined much more drastically in the assembly elections than in parliamentary ones. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, and Delhi, the Congress vote consolidated in favor of the BJS or BJP. The latter emerged as the second most important party. In Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, Assam, a Congress regional party, bipolarizations came into existence. Similarly, in the Northeast, a Congress regional parties, bipolarizations came into existence. Though in this case, the regional parties was very unstable. Now, let us have a look how these changes occur. In which way these changes occur? We shall refer mainly to the party systems that we witness in the state assembly elections. It has been noted earlier that the Congress has never secured more than 50% of the votes either in the parliamentary or assembly elections, except in some states, but has always secured huge majority in terms of seats. This is indicative of the fact that though significant oppositions to the Congress existed at the state level, due to the fragmentations in their ranks and because of the rule associated with the fast phase, the post system, the fast past the post system, the Congress always emerged victorious in terms of seats. In 1967 elections, in fact, put an end, at least for a temporary period, to this unity in the opposition. The post 1967 period saw the emergence of anti-Congress alliances in state after state, and these altered the nature of the contested, particularly for the assemblies. This development resulted in the defeat of the Congress Congress party in the parliamentary elections from 44.72 to 1962 to 4.7% in 1967. In the legislative assembly, the decline was from 43.65% to 39.96%. As a consequence, the percentage of seats came down from 61.3% to 48.5%. the seats entered into a bipolarized system. The principal contenders being the Congress and almost a united oppositions in many of the prominent Indian states. These systems continue almost till the end of the 1980s. Though one occasion the Congress was able to restore its predominant positions at the center and to a lesser extent at the state level. We also note that in the early 1970, the Congress was able to make a comeback after 1972 for a brief period. This will help illustrate the point better. In North India, the Uttar Pradesh, the Congress from the assembly elections of 1974 onwards was never able to secure 40% of the votes. Not even in the elections of 1985 that were held after the parliamentary elections of 1984, in which the Congress records a landslide victory. One of the other parties like BJP, Lokdal, Janata Party, etc., challenged the homogeneity of the Congress. In 1974, the BSJ increased its share of voters to 17.1% and secured 61 seats in the assembly. In the 1977 election, the Congress was routed by the Janata Party. Though the Congress Party returned to power in 1980, it managed only 37.7% of the votes. In 1985, the Congress could hardly manage 39.3% of votes, though it secured the majority of seats. In Lokdal could waste 21.3% of votes and 84 seats. In the West, the Maharashtra strong challenge of Congress hegemony came in 1978 and later from the mid of the 1980s. In the 1978 assembly elections of the Congress led by Indira Gandhi was rooted. In the 1985 assembly election is secured a majority with around 24% votes. Gujarat also moved closer to a bipolarized system, one from the late 1960s. In the 1970s, the Indira Congress was challenged by the INCO and the Janata Party in the elections of 1985. In both the elections that were held in the 1970s, the NCO has secured more than 23% of the votes, though its seats tally was not very impressive in 1972. The Janata Party secured little less than 20% votes in 1985 with only 14 seats in 182 members assembly. In general, India in Madhya Pradesh, the largest of the Indian state, the Congress was challenged by the BJP in 1972, 1980 and 1985. It was challenged by the Janata Party in 1977. The BJS secured 28.7% votes in 1980. The BJP secured 30.3% and in 1985 it could secure 32.4% votes. In 1977 seats assembly elections, the Janata Party had secured 47.3% votes and had formed the government with 230 members. In Bihar between 1972 to 1985, the Congress never secured more than 35% votes except in 1985. There was a considerable change to it from the BJS, BJP, NCO, JNP, Independence, Lokdal, etc. In the south, in Tamil Nadu, the party competition since 1967 narrowed down to a two-party competition, first between Congress and the DMK and then between the DMK and AIADMK. In Andhra Pradesh, the Congress popular vote share had started decline from the 1978 elections and entered into bipolar competitions from 1983 onwards. In West Bengal, the Congress lost its hegemonic positions from 1967 onwards, and saw bipolarizations from the elections of 1971. Thus, in the country as a whole, bargaining a few marginal states that remain effectively under the control of the Congress, a bipolar systems of party competitions emerged. To a large extent, the breakdown of the Congress system was the main factor behind these developments. So these above developments are the mainly responsible for the breakdown of Congress dominance. Okay, then we discuss towards fragmentations of state party systems. Okay, on 1989 onwards, the party system at both levels, national and state, moved towards a fragmentations from the late 1980s, or more particularly from the 1990s. What are the features of this fragmentation system? At the national level, there has been an end of the one party dominance and the movement towards a multi party system. As you have read earlier, this trend started in 1967 at the state level. However, the system that exists in the states are different from the national level. Many states have moved towards a two party system, and probably this is the most prominent feature of the party competitions at the state levels. Okay, at the national level, since the 1990s, the competitions has narrowed down to two different alliances, one led by the BJP and the other by the Congress. One is BJP and the other is the Congress. Okay, many states have moved towards a two-party system, and probably this is the most prominent feature of the party competition at the state level. At the national level, since the 1990s, the competitions has narrowed down to two different alliances, one led by the BJP and the other is Congress. At the state level, the competitions parties differ from state to state, but in most of the states, it is two-party system. In many states, it is a multi-party system where the important contenders are the Congress and the BJP and the state or regional parties. In some of the states, the competition is primarily between state or regional parties, though national parties also occupy a significant space in those states. Okay, now let us turn to the reason behind the emergence of this kind of systems in the states. There are multiple causes, but the most important of them are the decline of Congress in the states. Okay, the spectacular growth of BJP, particularly in the Hindi heartland of some other states, and thirdly, the growth of prominence of regional and state parties. Okay, as mentioned earlier, these trends had started much before the 1990s. Let us have a brief look to at all these developments which preceded trends of the 1990s in brief, and then turn to salient features of the party system that have emerged in the states since 1989. Although the Congress party had started parties and party system decline since the late 1960s. Okay, in the states, this decline become much more prominent in the late 90s, 80s. We have seen earlier that the Congress that had enjoyed dominance at the states level for more than 2 decades gradually started declining after the death of Nehru. The decline of Congress became more spectacular after Indira Gandhi assumed the leadership of the party. There are numerous explanations for this. Joya Hassan, for example, has argued that the Congress declined because of its inability to maintain the political basis of its coalitions. It is true that the party ability to mobilize voter at the lower level during the elections, whether at the state assembly or at the parliamentary elections, declined significantly in the late 90s, 80s, and 90s, 90. Thus, the Congress became a much reduced force at the state level since the late 90s, 80. The share of votes and seats The Congress captured in the Lok Sabha and more particularly in the assembly elections in the state sharply declined in the last decade of the 20th century. Its performance in the assembly election in some of the prominent states will help illustrate the point. In the state of Uttar Pradesh, the biggest of the Indian states, the Congress remained a much render force with its vote share declined from 15.08% in 1993 to 8.96% in 2002 in 1989, but it lost in the 1994 elections and remained in opposition till 2004. In Bihar, the votes of percentage of the Congress lumps to 24.78% in 1990s to the 11.06% in 2000 and ceased from 71 to 23. Its decline from 71 to 23 seats in the same period. Okay. Similarly, in Maharashtra, it lost its hegemony in 1990 completely. Okay. In 1990, it secured 38.17% of votes and 141 seats, but this dropped to 27.20% votes and 75 seats in 1999. In Tamil Nadu, the Congress had lost its dominant positions much earlier to the two regional forces, the DMK and the ADMK. Similarly, in West Bengal, its decline was much more rapid in the late 1990s due to the split and subsequent formations of the Trinamool Congress. In the year 2001 elections, it could be managed only 7.98% vote and 26 seats against 39.45% of votes and 82 seats in 1996. The expansions of the BJP in recent times has been much more dramatic than the decline of the Congress. The expansions has mainly been due to the decline of the Congress. The aggressive mobilization strategy based around the ideology of Hindutva, which it adopted from the late 1980s, and its strategy of alliance formation at the national level in the Lok Sabha, it increased its seats from 2 in 1989 to 182 seats in the 1998 elections that captured it to the positions of a ruling party. In 1999, it secured the same number of seats. Though, although along with its alliance, it was able to consolidate its positions as a ruling party. However, this onwards march of the BJP was halted in the 2004 general elections. It establishes dominance in 2014 and 2019 Lok Sabha elections. In the assembly elections, the performance of the BJP in the 1990s was equally spectacular. It increased its share of votes and seats in some of the prominent Indian states. In Bihar, it increased its share of seats from 39 and votes from 11.61 in 1990 to 14.64% of votes and 67 seats in 2000. In Uttar Pradesh, in the 1990s, its vote share, the seat share remained almost the same, although it declined in the 2002 elections. Okay, in Gujarat, it increased its vote share from 26.69% in 1990 to 44.81% in 1998 and further to 49.85% in 2002. This increase was also evident in many of the other Indian states. In some other states, it was able to form government either alone like Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh in 1990 or in alliance with other like Maharashtra with Shiv Sena in 1995. The third interrelated development that has take place in the recent times in the expansions of regional and state parties largely at the cost of Congress in the seats. As a result, they have increased their presence in the national legislature since the 1996 elections, and due to this they have came to play a very crucial role in the making and unmaking governments at the recent level. Elections data indicated that these parties have secured an increased percentage in the Lok Sabha. In 1991, the regional parties occupied 56 seats, whereas in 1996 they came to occupy 137 seats. In 161 seats in 1998 and 188 seats in 1999. As already discussed, the increase of their seats in the state legislative assembly in recent years is much more remarkable. In 2002, in as many as 12 seats of the Indian Union regional parties occupied a prominent positions in the state legislature. Not only have the parties increased their presence in the state legislature, but also formed government at the state level in some state in 1990s. The Shiv Sena for the first time came to power in Maharashtra along with its ally, the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) in 1995, the Assam Gana Parishad (AGP). Gana Parishad is AGP. And Akali Dal AD also formed government in the state in Punjab of 1997 along with its ally, the BJP. Thus, these parties were increased successful at the national and state level in the 1990s. It is due to this interrelated development that the party system in the state has undergone significant transformations in recent years, more particularly from 1989 onwards. From a system that was Congress dominated, it has become fragmented. In this fragmented system, the competition is primarily between two parties, one national or regional. But there are others who occupy a significant positions in the party politics of the state. The competitions at the state level in recent years and the party system that has emerged as a system may be classified into four main categories. To the first category belongs to the state like Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. These states are essentially two-party states in terms of votes and seats share. Included in this category are West Bengal, Kerala, Tripura, Maharashtra, and Punjab, which are essentially bipolar states. In these states, either two alliances or one party opposed by an alliances of two or smaller parties dominate party politics. In the second category belongs to the states. Uh, uh, in the second category belongs to the place those states like Karnataka, Bihar, and Odisha, where there are three or more polls. Thought it appears that in future it will drift towards a bipolar system, either due to the alliance or due to splits in existing parties. Thirdly, there are states like Uttar Pradesh where a four concern contest exists between the BJP and the Bahujan Samaj Party and the Indian National Congress, etc. The four category belongs to those states in which a bipolar or two-party system exists, but there is also an increased growth of a third party. The third party may not be strong enough to capture large number of seats, but has a significant vote share. Okay, these are the reasons, these are the causes and different causes of the decline of Congress dominance. Okay, then now we discuss what are the changing nature of party competitions. Okay, the nature and working of parties in a particular country are influenced by the nature of state and society in which they operate. The country history, national character, its culture, traditions, philosophy, and economy influences the parties in the way they shape up and functions. Also, the legal framework, the electoral system, and the political environment influence the working of the parties. In most of the countries which were once colonizations of Western nations, parties had emerged as associations for the purposes of fighting for national independence. In most of such countries, the party that lead national movement after attaining independence could place restrictions on or prohibit other parties and establish one party system because of the absence of the other political formations with popular support strong enough to maintain competition framework. The party system in India, however, had taken a different trajectory. Okay, the factor that contributes to the sustenance of democratic policies also had contributed to the sustenance of parties and party competitions in the country. These factors inhabited forces such as military bureaucracy and landed gentry to serve power to capture power in India, as happened in several other post-colonial countries. Okay, cultural pluralism, social diversity, and multi-philosophical schools had been the major characteristics of the country, which must have gone into the process of giving shape to a multi-party system with all its complexities. As Rajni Kothari pointed out, a striking features of Indian historical culture and tradition is the great variety of heterogeneity. This is due to the diversity of ethnic and religious groups, the electric rather than styles of integrating characteristics of Hinduism, absence of either a unifying theology or a unifying secular traditions, and highly differentiated social system that has brought functional hierarchies, spiritual distinctions, and ritual distinctions into a manifold frame of identities and interdependence. Okay, though centuries, India has developed what may be called a consensual style in dealing with problems and issues. The pluralistic characteristics coupled with consensual styles led to the development of multi-party systems in India with some of its unique features. Okay, that means Mm, uh, that means what are the party, in which way party becomes parties roles become change in day to day society. Okay, then after all, now we discuss some challenges which was faced by the political parties. Okay, political parties also face several challenges. The first challenge is we have seen how crucial political parties are for the working of democracies. Since parties are the most visible face of democracy, it is natural that people blame parties for whatever is wrong with the working of democracy. Okay, if there is a failure of democracy, we responsible to whom? We responsible to political parties. Okay, all over the world, people express strong dissatisfactions with the failure of political parties to perform their functions well. This is the cases in our country too. Popular dissatisfactions and criticism has focused on the four problem areas in working in political parties. Political parties need to face and overcome these challenges in order to remain effective instrument of democracy. That means they have to face this type of challenges. Okay, and they have to tackle with this type of challenges. The first challenges is lack of internal democracy within parties. All over the world, there is a tendency in political parties towards the concentrations of power in one or few leaders at the top. Parties do not keep membership registers, do not hold organization meeting, and do not conduct internal elections regularly. Ordinarily, members of the party do not get sufficient information on what happens inside the party. They do not have the means or the connections need to influence the decisions. As a result, the leaders assume greater power to make decisions in the name of the party. Since one or few leaders exercise permanent power in the party, those who disagree with the leadership find it difficult to continue in the party. More than loyalty of party principles and policies, personally loyalty to the leaders becomes more important. Okay, the second challenges of dynastic successions is related to the first one. Since more political parties do not practice open and transparent procedures for their functioning, there are very few ways of ordinary working to raise to the top in a party. Those who happen to be the leaders areas in a positions of unfair advantages to favor people close to them or even their family members. In many parties, the top positions are always controlled by members of one party. This is unfair to other members of that party. This is also bad for democracy since people do not have adequate experience or popular support come to occupy positions of power. This tendency is present in some measures of all over the world, including in some of the older democracies. The third challenges is about the growing role of money and muscle powers in parties, especially during elections. Okay, since parties are focused on a winning elections, they tend to use shortcuts to win elections. They tend to nominate those candidates who have or can raise lots of money. Rich people and companies who gives funds to the parties tend to have influence on the policies and decisions of the party. In some cases, parties support criminals who can win elections. Democrats all over the world are worried about the increasable role of the rich people and big companies in democratic parties. The fourth challenges is that very often parties do not seem to offer a meaningful choice to the voters. Okay, in order to offer meaningful choice, parties must be significantly different. In recent years, there has been a decline in the ideological differences among parties in most part of the world. For example, the difference between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party in Britain is very little. They agree on more fundamental aspects but differ only in details on how policies are to be framed and implemented. In our country too, the differences among the major parties of the economic parties have reduced. Those who want really different policies have no options available to them. Sometimes people cannot even elect very different leaders either because of the same sets of leadership keep shifting from one party to another. Okay, these are the various challenges which was faced by the political parties. So the presence of enlightened leaders in parties and their readiness to follow the rules of electoral democracy and to accommodate the representatives of upcoming social groups in their fold help the party system to consolidate in the initial years. Okay, now also the ability of people to see the rationale of the newly established democratic institutions and their willingness to make use of them for their advance also help the stability of the parties in India. People of the lower classes and caste saw electoral democracy as mean to improve their lives to secure a share in power. The upper classes caste also tended to be accommodative rather than refusing reconcile to the changing realities. Then principles of socialism, equality, and democracy to which most parties adhere to pave the way for the success democratic party politics in the countries. Okay, these are all about political parties and party systems in India. Okay, now you may note down some probable questions on political parties and party systems in India. First question is, what is political party? What is a political party? The next question, state the various functions of political parties in India. State the various functions of political parties in India. Next, what are the nature and characteristics of what are the nature and characteristics of a political party. What are the nature and characteristics of a political party? What are the nature and characteristics of a political party? The next one, define the different categories. Define the different categories of political parties. Define the different categories of political parties classified by the Election Commission. Define the different categories of political parties classified by the Election Commission. Then, what are the various features? What are the various features of political parties? What are the various features of political parties? What are the various features of political parties? The next, briefly analyze the era of Congress dominance. Briefly analyze the era of Congress dominance. Next, write a short note on write a short note on multi-party system in India. Write a short note on multi-party system in India. The next, write a short note on national parties. Write a short note on national parties. Next, write a short note on regional parties. Write a short note on regional parties. The next question, explain the dominant party system. Explain the dominant party system in different eras. in different eras. Explain the dominant party system in different eras. So ଏତିକି questions। ଏଇଠି ଆଜି ଆମର କୋର୍ସ ସରିଲା। ଯଦି କାହାର କିଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ସ ଅଛି ଦେନ୍ ପଚାରି ପାରନ୍ତି। ଆମର ଟୋଟାଲ 15ଟା ୟୁନିଟ୍ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ୍ ହେଲା ଆଜି। ଆଜି ଲାଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଥିଲା। ଯଦି କାହାର କିଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ସ ଅଛି 15ଟା ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଭିତରେ କୋଉଠି ବି ଯଦି କିଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ସ ଅଛି ଦେନ୍ ପଚାରି ପାରନ୍ତି। କାହାର କିଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ସ ନାହିଁ? Okay, then thank you. All the best for your bright future. Okay, thank you.